DCIS in my breast, and today is my surgery. And this is the hardest thing I've ever had to face in my life. But I know God is with me, and everything's going to go well.
That's always a tough situation. R&B singer Shanice Wilson has shared she was treated for breast cancer and underwent a double mastectomy 3 months ago. Now, the surgical procedure involves the removal of both breasts. And while it can save lives, it can leave an emotional toll or take a toll on a woman. My next guests share their stories. And joining us on The Factor Uncensored tonight, we have with us Holly Cotton and Kimberly Williams. And of course, they're here to share their stories as R&B singer Shanice recently announced that she had a double mastectomy after stage 1 tumor diagnosis. And of course, ladies, we always know it's difficult to get that kind of news, and you both have been impacted. So your thoughts about this, Holly, first of all, and what happened in your case?
Sure. So as for whenever you talk about Shanice, she had something called DCIS, which is a very common form of breast cancer. That's usually most of the breast cancers are DCIS, which is ductal carcinoma in situ, which means that it's in the milk ducts and it has not gone anywhere else. It hasn't what we call metastasized to the lymph nodes. But a lot of women always choose the option of the mastectomy in lieu of a lumpectomy because you can do the surgery where you have both of your breasts and now you have the symmetry, you feel normal. So a lot of women, like Shanice did, go for a bilateral mastectomy. So again, that was what my cancer was as well, stage 1 DCIS as well. So it had not metastasized into the lymph nodes, no lymph node involvement. So I chose to go the same route as Shanice did because I was very young when I got diagnosed. So I know that the risk of reoccurrence, the younger you are, is higher. Obviously, you got more years left to live. So the chance of you having a reoccurrence in the other breasts is very high. So a lot of times women will choose that route with the bilateral mastectomy or just get the whole breast removed and do reconstruction as well.
All right, Kim, let's hear what happened to you in your case.
So funny because I've been knowing Holly a while and we've never actually shared our stories, and I'm the exact opposite. So my cancer did metastasize and I was stage 4 diagnosed, where not only did I have a bilateral mastectomy, I also had several lymph nodes removed because my cancer was spreading so aggressively and so quickly. So the whole right side of my body, when they went to take out lymph nodes, they removed my right breast, and then they also took out of my neck, my arm, and had to do some severe chemo and radiation on the top of my ribs.
And for women, for both of you, and you can both hop in here, who are going through this, how difficult is it when you first get that news and you realize the steps you have to take to stay alive?
So, go ahead, Kim.
Well, I was just going to say with mine, because it was stage 4, I had like almost a tiny soccer ball, I would say, because it was larger than a baseball. So I went from one to the other. I went from having this huge right breast and then my regular like C cup on the left to having nothing here, which is I'm still, I chose to only remove the one breast. So my right breast is gone. I've not had prosthetic created or even the surgery performed yet. So, and I'm a fashion girly. So I know that, the most important thing is, of course, us living, but just me living through it was also an issue because here it was, I was trying to cover this, this large soccer ball on one side. And then when it was gone, you've got the opposite. So I've had the various stages to go with also the mental. That was the biggest thing for me, was mentally. I was like, okay, I will no longer be a woman because I'm, this is what we pride ourselves, especially when you're curvy, you pride yourself on that. So even when I was told like, hey girl, you're going to make it, like we thought you were going to die and now you're not. But even with just that whole transition, it was the aesthetics of it all was very tough for me.
Holly?
Yeah, and then again, I like Kimberly said, I'm just the opposite. So unfortunately, the majority of women have no symptoms whatsoever for breast cancer. A lot of women don't even know that they have a lump, that they have a lesion. So for me, I was in the healthiest shape of my life. I was like the P90X queen, if you remember
I
P90X back
remember
in the day.
that.
Oh, you couldn't tell me nothing, Isaiah, boy, I'm girl P90X. And so here I am, ripped abs, best shape of my life, you know, and then to go in and feel a lump, which most women
Mhm.
palpate, they feel it, and they're like, wait, I feel a lump. So most of the time, it's not a mammogram that is how you are finding out you have a lump. It's you doing that self-exam. So very important for women to do that. And then we get into that, okay, so what's next? Because a lot of women, especially high functioning women, we're working, we're moms, we're doing stuff.
Yes.
We're already like, next step, what comes next? Okay, so I got cancer. What I got to do? I can't die on my kids. I got to get back to work. I got to do, what am I doing? You know, so it goes into that, like, what is the next step? What is my treatment? What are the options? So my advice for women is just give yourself time to adjust, because it's a blow. But we get so task oriented, like, what's the next step? And I have to survive, that we just don't give ourselves the time to absorb it and to process it. And a lot of times, if you have the wrong physician, the physician is immediately like, bam, surgery, chemo, radiation, this, that, like, we're so we trust them, so we're so trusting with our lives that whatever they say we do. And there are so many options now, because cancer has just the research behind it, all of the money that we got, that we're donating, is actually going to research. Don't just go and get surgery. Don't just go and get your nipples removed. Don't just go and get your lymph nodes in your armpit removed, and now you're fighting with lymphedema for the rest of your life. Like, there are so many options. So that's my advice, is give yourself time to grieve. It is a loss. It's a loss of how you look. It's a loss of independence, but also do your research. And if you don't like the way a doctor is talking to you, or if they're dismissing you, or if you don't like the treatment options, get third, fourth, fifth, sixth opinion. Don't settle.